So here we are in the tent, and as we go through this, we're very much going to speak in terms of the tent is a place where we want you to be able to connect. We want you to be able to communicate with Reformed Jewish leaders throughout North America. We want the tent to be a place where you're going to feel welcomed as well. We want this to be a place that you're going to go to. We want this to be a place that you're going to use. Just a couple of notes as we dive into this. I know we're all used to communicating via the small talk listserv on Shamash, and you may participate in other listservs on Shamash as well. One by one, we are going to be closing down the listservs of Shamash. Small Talk is one of the first groups that we are welcoming into the tent. And as such, we are planning to close down the Shamash Small Talk listserv at the end of next month, at the end of August. So we want to give everybody a chance to learn this new technology platform before we shut that down. But that's a piece of information you should keep in mind. The small talk site in the tent is an open site. It's viewable by everybody who has a username and password to get into the URJ tent. So that's just an important thing to keep in mind as well. As I said before, you are one of our first groups that we are welcoming into the tent. As such, please understand that you may notice some significant changes along the way, and that you have a unique opportunity to steer the direction of this new tool. We are very glad that you're here. We are on the homepage of the tent right now, and it's got kind of a mishmash look right now. We are actively engaged in rebranding this site. So not only will this page change, but the small talk page will change as well. And so as that does change, as you see things change, um, please feel free to be in touch with us. What do you like? What does not work for you? We really want to stay connected to you. Um, by now, you should have all received your usernames and passwords, and you should have all had an opportunity to set up your user profile as well. In the upper right hand corner of the screen, you should see your name, and you can go to your About Me page. As you set up, there's a few things we'd like you to keep in mind when you set up your user profile here. One is to use a picture of yourself. We really want to know who you are. It's really nice to be able to see these conversations that we've already had on the small talk site, and to see who you all are, who is making the comments. And then when, please God, we all get together at biennial at the end of this year, we'll be able to come up and say hello and see a familiar face. Right here are all the things we wanted we that we can share. What are you a particular expert in? What skills do you have to share with others in the tent? Why is somebody going to want to reach out to you? Please share with us your expertise to know what you have to share inside the tent. What is your role? This role is defined by you. Are you a member of your congregation's board? Are you the rabbi of your congregation? Are you a past president of your board? Please share that with us. And then we have other things that we'd like to know about you as well. However, this is all up to you. Please feel free to share what you would like to share, but there certainly is no need to share anything that you would prefer not to share.
Larry, quick interruption, if I may.
Please, Michael.
There is a question from Ken Leone asking about letting folks know how to get a username if they have not received that already.
Okay, so if you have not received a username yet, please reach out directly to me. Send me an email, and I'm going to type my email address in the chat box here, but the email address is just lglickman, Glickman, at urj.org. So please do be in touch with me with if you have not received your password or whatever other questions or comments you may have along the way. Okay, so now that you have completely filled in your user profile, and by the way, on any page where you have the opportunity to enter things, you're going to see this edit link at the top of the page. That's going to enable you to get in so you can change things. So I'm not going to change anything because this is all just the way that I want it. And I'm going to hit save all and close. And that was a note that came up that said, even though you may have changed things, it may take a little while to show on the page. So if it does not reflect the changes that you've made right away, just give it some time. So you have entered your user profile information. Now you want to join the Smalltalk site. And there's a couple ways to do that. One, we can go back uh, to the home page. I'm just going to page back until I get to the home page of the tent. And if we go up to the search box, and it's important to note that that search box is there on every page. So there's never anywhere you'll be for the most part where you cannot search. And if I just do a search on Smalltalk, hit return, I'm going to see that the Smalltalk group is the very first result. So I'm already a member of this group, but if you're not, you're going to see a blue join this community button right here. And so you're just going to click that, and then you're going to be in, and we're going to see the number of members of this group begin to grow. You should also hit the follow button up here. That's going to enable two things to occur. One, that's going to enable you to receive alert emails when things on here on this site change. And then when you go to this sites button at the top of the page, which is always there, it's at the top of each page, you are going to see all of the sites that you belong to so that you don't need to do a search each time you come into the tent. You just hit sites and you're going to see the list of sites that you belong to, that you have access to. So I'm going to hit Smalltalk, and what do we see on this page? The first thing that we see is a list of the most recent discussions that are happening in this site. And they are sorted by either when the conversation began or by when the last reply was made. And you can see all of that information here. Here is the name of the post. Here is who made the post. And here's when the last response to the post was made and by who. And then if I click on here and I go in, I can see the first question that was asked, and Mr. Angel was kind enough to also mention the congregation that he belongs to, where it is, and I assume that 115 means that's how many member households they have. This is all great information to include. You can include that. However, I can also click on Mr. Angel's name, and his user profile is going to come up, and we're going to see that information there as well. It's all good stuff, and you can include that wherever you like. And then we see the response that Mary Lugazi made here, and that's all there. So if I wanted to reply here as well, there's always either that reply box that's going to be there, or I can just hit reply here, and here is my response. Now I'm a now now as you can see, as soon as I typed, that reply button became blue. And so now if I hit reply, that's going to become a part of this discussion online. There is a bug, however, right now, and sometimes that reply box doesn't turn blue when you start to type. If that's the case, and I wouldn't bring this up if I wasn't concerned that you were going to come across this yourselves. If that's the case, you simply have to hit the refresh button in your. I'm typing the response here, and you can see that that response button is blue and that I can reply then. I'm not going to reply. I'm just going to remove that response because I want to show you some other ways. So like I said, this is what is going on in the Smalltalk site now. If I hit the what's hot, that just means these are the conversations that are getting the most feedback right now. So you can go there to see what are the most active things. And then if you just want to keep an eye on the discussions that you have begun, you can just go here and always check in to see who's gotten back to you last. Um, but that is not the only way. Um, and we've also organized our discussions here by category as well. And that's a real important way to get engaged with this group because you may know when you come in that you want to post something about dues. But you also may want to know what else is going on in regards to dues. And in that case, you can click into that category there. We don't have anything being talked about yet there, but you could see what else is being talked about, and that may spur some other things to think about. And as you scroll, you can see what is going on in each of these categories here. So let me pick one where there's actually some things being talked about. So then if I were to hit new here, that's going to enable me to start a new conversation here. And the category is already picked down here because I was in that category when I began to type. If I start to type and I think I may want to change the category that it's in, I can just click on that pull down here and I can pick something new. So in fact, let me actually make a new conversation here. I'm going to go into the holidays category here. And I want to talk about High Holy Day giving. So I want to know what or how do your congregations encourage donations during the High Holy Days? So you can see as I start to type, a ribbon appears at the top, and I can give any kind of a predetermined style to this that I want. I can make it bold or underline. I can change the font and the size, and that's all great stuff. And I also want to click to indicate, no, I'm not making an announcement here. I really do want to get a response to this. So if I hit save, I'm going to see that it appears there at the top of the list. But since I began this conversation, I realize that there is something else that I want to share. So whenever you see the three dots here, that indicates that there's more here that you can do. I want to go back here and I want to edit this. Actually, it occurs to me that I have a resource that I would like to share. I have an attachment that I would like to share. For those of you who have used Shamash for a long time, you know that sometimes attachments go through and sometimes they don't. Here, I'm happy to announce they always go through. I just need to hit that insert tab at the top of the page. And I want to upload a file, and you can see that it's the normal type of file navigation that we've all seen before. This I know is the file that I'd like to use. I'm going to hit open. Now, it's one thing. It's very important that when you upload this, you hit this pull down menu here, and you pick the correct resource library to put this in. So what I'm sharing with everybody here is a flyer for High Holy Day donations. So there's lots of things that could go under. I'm going to pick program examples. I'm going to hit OK. So what's going to come up is a big window with lots of blanks. Really important that we take the time to fill this out. It's one thing to share the resources that we have, it's another thing to be able to find them. This is going to enable people to find the things that you want to share with them. I'm going to name this High Holy Day donations. The form we use for promoting giving opportunities. Program type, fundraiser. Topics. Now here, when you see this tag icon here, that means that this is a pre-populated list. So when you start to type, um, words are going to come up that are going to suggest what you may want to pick. High Holy Day appeal. I'm going to type a D for donations, donor recognition. I don't like that. We can only use the words that are pre-populated on this list. Giving, no giving. Huh. So you can play around with this until you find the terms that are going to work for you. And these are things you can add in if you want or not. The star you do need to add in. What year was this done? I believe it was 2012. We'd also love to know what congregation this was created for. Now, with me, I used to work for a congregation. Now I work for the URJ. So if I was to share this and not choose the congregation that it was created for, you wouldn't be able to tell through seeing my user profile because I don't work for the congregation now. So I'm just going to click on there and I'm just going to start to type the name of the congregation. It comes right up, which is great. And then you can add all this in if you want. You certainly don't need to. Size of the congregation, if you think it's applicable to that. And same with this blank as well. So I'm going to save all of this. I'm going to save this. And now you can see that the resource that I just shared is a part of the conversation itself. And if I click on here, there it is. Okay. So not
Hi,
only,
Larry.
yes, please
So we have a couple questions.
go.
Okay, so first question is from Lynn Goldsmith, and she asks, where is the comprehensive list of sites in the Big Tent so we can follow them?
Okay. So right now, as I said before, you are one of the first two groups that are in the tent, and we are planning on rolling out to two more groups per month, if not more, through the remainder of the calendar year. We want to be sure we take this slow. We want to do this right. So we're really going to take our time. But in time, on your sites page, you're going to be able to click here and see all of the sites. And there's a bug here right now. I'm afraid we're hoping this is going to get fixed soon, but that you're going to see the sites here that you are going to be able to join. Important to note that some sites are going to be closed. What you're going to find is with some of the professional groups, they're going to keep those sites closed because of the nature of some of the conversations that they have. So like the
S-
CCAR will be a closed group. We're not going to be able to get into that, but there's going to be lots of open groups to be sure.
Okay, so I also want to add
Please.
other thing about this, which is that if you go to the homepage of the tent, the place where we're going to be collecting all communities is in community directory where Larry has his cursor right now. So if you click there, this is all sites that are currently launched. So the community portal where Larry was before is going to show only sites that are publicly available, but this list here is going to be updated by people on staff and is going to show all communities that we've launched regardless of whether you can or cannot join them.
Yes. Okay, and you said you had another question as well?
So a follow-up question from Lynn who said, where did you click for the sites?
For sites, oh, there's just that. It's always the word sites at the top of the page in the blue bar. It's always there.
Okay.
Okay.
And so two questions from Pamela Obshinsky.
Yes, Pamela.
So
There.
the first question is, do we have to go to the URJ site to go to Smalltalk? Email is much more convenient than having to go to a website.
Right. Important to note that this is designed as a team collaboration site. And if I go back to Smalltalk, I want to point out a couple ways that you can keep up to date on what is going on through email. One is whenever you start a new discussion yourself in the tent, you are going to get an email alert when somebody responds. You can also um, get an alert on anything that you want, even if you didn't begin the conversation online. Here I see that Richard began a new conversation here, and if I hit page, this ribbon comes up here, and I can go to alert me. And I can set an alert on this page so that I know when somebody's going to respond. And also important to note that if you are a user of Microsoft Outlook, you can connect Outlook to the tent so you can send and receive emails directly from Outlook. It only works with Outlook, though. It does not work with Gmail or Yahoo Mail or anything like that. So lots of ways to keep up to date. But think of it's very Facebook-like. For those of you who use Facebook, that's a site that you go to keep up to date on things. And this is, and you're going to come back here as well, we hope, to keep up to date on what people are talking about. Okay. Are there,
Okay, one more question, which is,
yes.
how do you get to the tent on the web?
Okay, so in if you received registration information on how to log in, that gave you the link. But what I would recommend that you do is just go to, and I'm highlighting the main link here, the urj.sharepoint.com. So that's going to bring you to the main page of the tent. And from there, go to Smalltalk. And you can see here, I made a bookmark for Smalltalk. So I can just go back there and get right into the tent without having to search around, without having to type in a long URL. And I'd be more than happy to help anybody offline with helping to set that bookmark up for you. Okay, so moving on. Um, I'm going to go back here. Now, Sarah, where
Yes.
is my resource library?
The URJ resource
No,
library,
for
or
Smalltalk.
so it looks like the something ha happened with the quick launch on the left. So let me see
Okay.
if the same thing is true for me or if it's just your logon. Um, yeah, so the same thing is true for me.
Okay.
So
So
the
what's a good product launch without a bug or two along the way? But usually what you're going to see is a resource library link along the left side of the page as well. In fact, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go in. I just want to make sure that because I really want to share this with you. I'm going to go into another site here, and what you're going to see. This is the site that we launched for the National Association for Temple Administration this month. And you have a resource library as well. There's just a little bug which we're going to get resolved. But uh, if you click on any category in the resource library, you're going to see what resources have been shared with you there, and then you can click on there to see what each one of these is. Oh, that's the same thing that I shared with Smalltalk. Um, and you can just scroll down, and you can, if you click on the three dots, you can also get a really nice preview, so you can get a sense before you open it up if you think that this is going to be something that you want to click on and see more of. And then if it's a resource you like, perhaps that you shared and you want to know how it's used, you can just hit the follow button there, and then you're going to know who it was viewed by, who it was used by. And then again, three more dots here, which gives you a lot more options as well. I'm not going to get into all of this stuff now, but please know that beginning next month, I believe we're going to be offering a series of ongoing webinars where we really dive into all of these things and explain how you can use the tent and all of its tools that we have here. So in order to find a resource, you can either scroll through here and look at each different category that we have. But it's important to note that the tent has a really powerful search tool as well. So I just shared something before. In fact, I'm going to try to get out of here. I want to go back into the Smalltalk site, and I want to do search there. So I just put up something about the High Holy Days. So I'm going to do a search on High Holy Days here. And I just hit return or enter. And I see a list of everything. And I know that it's everything because the word everything is in blue. And it gives me it shows me everything that I have the rights to see that match the terms high holy days. And if I scroll down here, I see I have over 383 results, which is a lot. And that number is just going to grow and grow and grow. So I can look at things and I can scroll. And as I scroll over each thing, I'm going to get a sense of what each one of these search results are. And what you're seeing is a lot of URJ information here that we've shared. And so that's all there. But if I want to see fewer things, if I'm really trying to refine my search so I can find exactly what I want to find, there are some really powerful ways to do that. If I only want to see PDF files, I click on the PDF link on the left, and that's all that I see. If I think for some reason that Larry Glickman has shared some really useful information, I can click on his name and see what he shared. And then I can click on PDF so I can see the PDFs that Larry Glickman has shared. I can refine it by the date that it was shared or the date that it was last changed. I can refine it by the site that it was shared on. So there's lots of ways to really get down to exactly what we want to find. And then I already went into alerts. I want to go back to the site. I want to show you just a couple other things. I see that Richard Holtz shared, has begun a conversation here about synagogue security, which is such an important thing to talk about. Thank you for sharing that. I am very eager to talk about this. I know that, and I'm going to type the @ Now, here's one. So this is the bug that I told you about before. I began to type and the reply button has not turned blue. I'm just going to refresh that screen real quick. And great topic. And now it's blue. I know that. Now, usually, if you type the @ you're going to be able to tag somebody in this response, and you're going to see a list of names pop up. And if there's somebody that you want to be sure to include in this, they're going to get an alert that they have been mentioned in a post. And that's going to be a real powerful tool to get people engaged in this as well. So there's lots of ways to keep up to date on things, and there's lots of ways to know when things are happening in the tent through the use of alerts by coordinating your Outlook with the tent. This is all Microsoft products here, so that's why that works so well. Um, I really encourage you to get online, start to share, start to talk, and see how all of this technology works. And if there's ever something that you think this should be able to do, if there's ever a thing that you think that we talked about in this webinar, there's always this training and FAQ link at the top of the page. If you click on there, you're going to see some really basic things about how to set up and how to start to use this. And then along the left-hand side of the page, you're going to see a lot more resources here. And please start to go through this stuff. And this is going to give you a great opportunity to learn about how this all works. And again, I know I talked about alerts fast. And if you want to go back and see how alerts were used or how alerts work, just go into search. And if I search and I type the word alert, the very first thing I'm going to see is how to set up an alert. All of this information is here for you to use. The tent is here for you to dive in and start to talk, start to share, start to enjoy. Before I close things down, I just want to make sure there are no other questions, Sarah.
No, we are good with questions for right now.
Great. And I neglected to welcome North American board member Jane Taves as well. Jane Taves is working very closely with me on developing the tent, and I really want to thank her for being here as well. I want to thank you all for being here as well. Please keep in touch. Let us know how we can help. Get your friends online. We will keep in touch with you over the Small Talk listserv about when that's going to be shut down, and we'll keep in touch with you in the tent as well. We're going to make this webinar available online, and we will be providing that link soon. So thank you all very much, and I look forward to seeing all the great things you talk about in the tent. And this webinar is going to end right now. Thank you very much.